All right, in this video I'm going to show how to tape an ankle for sport. It's far more effective to have an ankle taped for sport rather than a brace. It's going to provide the support we need as well as the flexibility that's required for active motion. So the first step is to position the foot in the appropriate manner. So for this to be most effective, you want to make sure that the foot is in a flexed position, flexed and active position. So you're not going to be, if you're flexible enough, you don't want to have your toes all the way back at your tibia, but you want to make sure that the foot is in its neutral flexed position. Next, we're going to put some pro wrap around the whole ankle and foot. This is going to be at kind of the preference of the athlete. Some people prefer it, others don't. It's just going to make removing the tape a lot easier, as well as often more comfortable having it taped so it's not pulling on any leg hair or pulling on the skin. So you can lay it down like that, kind of covering the whole ankle and the foot where you're going to be taping. For this next part, we're going to start with our anchors. So these are going to hold our tape in place and just provide a starting point for our tape job. So first we're going to start at the top of the ankle here. You're going to start about kind of where the calf starts to taper. You want it to be about halfway to 3/4 of the way up the tibia here. We usually like to tape medial to lateral, meaning from the inside of the body to the outside of the body. So we're going to start our tape and you're going to place it kind of half on the pro wrap, half not. You want to make sure it's anchored in. And what's really important here is that we're not making these tight. They're not a tension point, they're just as an anchor. So we want to kind of pull out our tape first and then wrap. And we want to do so at a bit of an angle. And this is going to allow for the tapering of the calf because we don't want those wrinkles in our tape job. So that's the first one there. And we're going to place another one just slightly below it there to seal our anchor like that. All right. And then for the bottom anchor, you want to start again kind of on the top of the foot here. And this is really important that this is not tight because this is the spot where athletes will often complain that the tape job is too tight. So we want to really pull our tape first and then place. Same thing, we want to start at the top and kind of cover this 5th metatarsal here, going around. And then what we like to do is use our fist to kind of expand the bottom of the foot there and then bringing it over just to make sure that our tape job is not going to be too tight on the athlete. We really don't want that to be a point of tension. All right, the next part are going to be our stirrups, and these are what's going to hold our ankle in the position that we want it to be. There's generally 2 types of ankle sprains that we see, and that's eversion and inversion. So inversion is where that ankle is twisting inwards and we fall like that. And for that, to counteract that motion, we want to pull our foot in the other way. So the stirrups are going to be placed starting on our anchor. For inversion, we're going medial to lateral again. So placing that tape kind of right above the malleoli right there. So these 2 parts here are the malleoli. You're going to start on the anchor, pull down. When we get to the bottom of the foot here, we don't want to be placing the tape directly over this band here. That's going to cause a lot of tension and pressure on the bottom of the foot. So we want to kind of bring it towards the back of the heel. So we're going to start on the anchor, really pull down and around, rip the tape, and then really for inversion, you're going to pull up and place it down like that. All right, so that was our first stirrup. We're going to add 2 more, and they're going to make an X shape across. So if we were to start on the top, we're going to start slightly forward from this one here, place that tape down, again coming by the heel, and it's going to end behind the ankle there. Pulling up and back like that. And then the third is going to go slightly behind the first stirrup. Again, coming down around the heel and ending in front of the other one. Always for inversion starting, again, from the inside, moving out. This is to pull our foot into this position here. If it was an eversion sprain, so if the ankle was rotated out like that, which is much less common, generally what we can do is apply just even pressure, even lift on both sides of the ankle because there's less range of motion going this way, all right? Next are going to be our heel locks. So we're going to put one in each direction. You're going to be starting on a bit of an angle. Again, starting the tape on our stirrups here so they're locked in. And you can go, we're going to come down and it's going to go around the back of the heel. It's going to come up in front of the heel, and then it's going to finish straight up the side of our ankle there. All right. Same thing on the other side. It's going to come from this side on an angle. It's going to come down. It's going to go behind the heel there. And then this is a bit tricky because you want to make sure there's as few wrinkles in the tape as possible. So you just have to take a lot of practice to get this to go the way you'd like. And then place it down there, like so. Often we need to place a piece of tape going around these stirrups and heel locks we just made to kind of anchor them in place. So you can again take a piece of tape, just going across the top, and setting it down. Again, it doesn't have to be tight, just kind of anchoring it in place. So then we're going to start to close our ankle tape job. So there's going to be kind of two steps to this. First, we're just going to place some closing strips around the ankle. So you can kind of start, you don't start right at the top because that's just a bit of a waste of tape. But again, going medial to lateral with those strips. And once again, not enforcing a lot of tension, pull the tape out, wrap, rip, and place down. And we're just going to do these down the ankle. Again, this is kind of where you can make it look a bit more presentable, smooth out all of those bumps. And again, that angle is really important here. You can kind of do one just kind of close to the ankle there, like so. All right. And our final step is going to be the Louisiana strip. This is probably the most technical step of the tape job. So it's going to be essentially 2 heel locks and then a figure 8. So you're going to start either side. Let's go medial to lateral to make it consistent. You're going to start again on an angle here, place the tape down, and you're going to do your first heel lock and then come around. You're going to bring it around and down the other side of the foot, coming behind the heel, around the heel, and then making sure to fill any windows that you can while you're doing this. We're going to go around the back of the ankle and then down underneath the foot, and then you can bring it up and around or just up depending on how your tape's finishing, just like so. And as you can see, we filled all of the gaps in our tape with that strip. If needed, if there's any more support needed, you can add another, and generally you could go in the opposite direction. So you could start like that, go down. This is just depending on the level of support that your player is going to need. Making sure to fill all of those gaps that you can. Again, when you're coming around the bottom of the foot, this is another place a good place to expand the foot before coming up to make sure that there's not an excess of tension on that foot. All right, and then final step is to just kind of lock it in place. So again, place maybe a strip here just to make sure that it's not going to roll up in the athlete's cleat. So really pull that tape out, bring it around, expand the foot, and come up like that. And then that is how you should tape an ankle for sport. It's important to note that if there's any sort of deformity or there's like suggests that the ankle might be broken or dislocated, you should not be taping the ankle. You should be not playing at all, and we don't want to tape over any sort of injuries that are not more than just a sprain. All right.